I went from being able to focus for 1 to 10 minutes in every single study session, sitting at my desk for hours at a time, seeing my grade just stay at the same while everyone else just goes up, to being able to focus for 6+ hours every single day, balance my business, go to the gym at the same time, and achieve the top grades in my tests. And the thing is, I watched all of these study videos. I watched the Pomodoro technique, I watched the different study tactics, but nothing worked. But there's 3 simple secret actions I did myself that most YouTubers are actually hiding from you. You see, it's around August 2022 and I'm sitting at this very desk trying to study for my exam. And the reason why I say I was trying was because I was scrolling like a zombie like usual. I wouldn't be studying for my exam, I would be looking for the next dopamine source that would fuel my dopamine addiction, right? I remember as I was just scrolling through all of these videos on my recommended, one video catched my eye, and it wasn't the usual GTA videos or the video game videos that I usually click on and get so much dopamine from, right? It was actually a self-improvement video, and because the thumbnail catches my attention, it's different to all the other dopamine stimulating thumbnails, right? I click on it, and I never actually knew the concept of improving your life, because before this my life was terrible. And even though I had all these problems in my life, the only problem I was truly facing was a lack of focus. You see, every single time I tried to study, every single time I tried to focus on one thing, I would get distracted. You know, I would think about going to the gym, I would get distracted, my mind would distract me with GTA. And as soon as I finished watching this one self-improvement video, my entire recommended from like top to bottom was just filled with all these videos and explaining how to improve your life. You know, the Andrew Huberman podcast telling you how to improve your focus, productivity, all this random garbage that I've never heard of, right? Because after like an entire year of watching all of these podcasts, I finally was able to solve this issue. I finally went from studying for 10 minutes at a time, hating my life, getting addicted to video games and all this random garbage, right, that was just consuming my soul, to being able to focus for 6 to 8 hours every single day on my business, you know, on school, and going to the gym at the same time. You see, the first thing I did to actually improve my focus was knowing the concept of friction. Now, this is a concept known in physics and science, and I won't bother explaining it to you because you probably know what it is. But the first thing I did to actually improve my focus so I can study for 6 to 8 hours every single day and really skyrocket my grades, I was adding a ton of friction to get onto these distractions. Because what I learned in this 1 year when I was just watching all of these podcasts trying to improve my focus and actually solve this problem was knowing that the more friction that is actually associated with an action, the less likely you are to do it. And this is why things like working on your business, going to the gym, studying are so difficult. It's because the friction to actually do all of these habits are super high, but the friction to get on the distractions like video games or scrolling or, you know, eating that junk food is very low. So your brain automatically takes the path of least resistance. And there's a little formula I used myself to really skyrocket my focus. And basically what you need to do is increase the friction in every single distraction in your life. If you're addicted to YouTube, there's tons of web extensions that you can put in place that will stop you from getting on there. You know, you can throw your phone out the window, and trust me, if you do that, you're not going to go on YouTube, you're not going to scroll on your phone. But it's also the opposite for our work. For our work, what we want to do is make the work easier to do. We want to make the work as frictionless as possible. And what that will do is it will allow you to take action as easy as possible, because your brain takes the path of least resistance. So this is going to be your first actionable step. I want you to write down every single distraction you face inside of your study session, whether that's YouTube, whether that's scrolling, whether that's that random toxic friend that keeps on just like messaging you. And what I want you to do is, next to it, I want you to write every single way you can increase the friction of this distraction. If you keep on scrolling on YouTube, you can install a web blocker, you can install the Rise software, which is like what I used to focus. You can, you know, do all these random things, these small things, but these all add up, so you can actually focus on what matters. And trust me, this is the best thing you can do, because at one moment before this, you're getting distracted, you know, you're scrolling on YouTube like a monkey, but then you're not. You're working like a mule, right? Literally, for me to go on YouTube or like Instagram, all these random social media apps, right? What I have to do, I literally have to disable like 3 web extensions. I have to, you know, disable my Rise productivity tracker. I have to, you know, log onto my phone. I have to log into Google. I have to do all these things. And my brain is naturally lazy, and as most people are, right? So it doesn't commit to actually doing that. Instead, it just gets back to work because that's easier to do. But maybe that's not the problem you're facing. Maybe the reason why you struggle to focus is because your work is too difficult. Well, what we want to do is make the work as easy as possible. Literally do the exact same process. Put the task you're trying to do and put every single way you can make this task easier to do. And like I said before, your brain takes the path of least resistance, so you're more likely to do it. So maybe if you're studying with like flashcards or past papers, you literally have them on your desk when you go to bed, so that when in the morning you can just get up and work on them. Maybe you just have like the work open on your desktop, and and every single time you log on, you just have it in front of you. These little things really improve your productivity. Then the second thing I did, and trust me, this is way more important than the first point, but it was something called knowing my circadian rhythm. And you're probably wondering what the hell that even means, like a circadian rhythm. Like, but the thing is, your brain actually follows a sequence throughout the day, and you've probably noticed this. Like, as soon as you come back from school, you're so tired. Well, the reason why this happens is because your brain is at the lowest circadian rhythm. And what happens to you is, after a few hours you come back from school, you start to gain energy again. You know, maybe you have some food, maybe you know, message your friend or something, and then you start to gain energy. Well, the reason why this happens is because this circadian rhythm goes up. And this is something I suggested to my one-to-one clients, because basically he's just super busy, he has no time, right? What I suggested him do, as soon as you come back from school, don't try to study. Instead, what you should do is just have a nap. And the reason why I say this, and you're probably disagreeing with me right now, but there's no point in trying to study when you're unfocused. Instead, it would be a better idea to regain this energy, and you know, so you can complete like 3 hours of work in 30 minutes after you have that nap. And even if you try to force yourself, like be this like David Goggins person who's super disciplined, right? You won't even put the information you're trying to study into your long-term memory, so you just forget it instantly, and it'll just be a waste of time. So I just want you to think right now, when do you actually feel tired? Do you feel tired as soon as you wake up? Do you feel tired when you come back from school? When you know, like when your focus dips, you can start to plan around that for when your focus goes back up. And this is, trust me, this is the most important thing I've ever done. It wasn't to do with sleep, it wasn't to do with even destroying the distractions, even though that's so important. But literally just making this tiny switch in my routine changed my focus and allowed me to achieve top grades, allowed me to focus on my business, allowed me to balance the gym at the same time. And every single thing I've said in this video, the circadian rhythm there, none of it matters if you do not master this third point. You see, the possible reason why you struggle to focus is due to your diet. You see, I do free coaching calls in my free community, right? Basically improving your productivity, everyone gets a free coaching call with me, right? And every single time I go on these calls, I can tell the people struggle with brain fog. And you know, they say it to me like, how do you stop brain fog? How do you know, have this clarity in your mind so you can focus? Well, the number one reason why 99% of people have brain fog, and trust me, if you're disagreeing with me right now, you have brain fog, because you don't realize how sharp your brain can actually be. But the main reason for brain fog is people's diet, specifically when you eat carbs. Because what happens is when you eat carbs, your brain's focus turns to digesting that food instead of trying to focus on your daily actions, decision making, right? And this is why I basically cut out most of my carbs in my life. It's simply because it causes too much brain fog for me, and some people don't really have brain fog from this, but I do. And I'm pretty sure you're similar to me if you're watching this far in the video. But carbs can be anything from like cereal, you know, bread, pasta, all this stuff, right? The super intensive carb meals, you kind of just want to avoid, or if you can't avoid them, literally just move it to later in the day. So maybe in the morning, you don't eat breakfast, you don't eat that big bowl of cereal, you just get straight to work, and trust me, you will really change your productivity if you can actually master this, because it's the one thing that really saved my life. And there's two ways you can combat this as well. You can either just do something called intermittent fasting, where you don't eat anything for like the first 5 hours in the day, and you literally just work, you do all your work first, and then you can start like having a big meal. Or you literally just cut out carbs entirely, you just eat eggs, you just eat, you know, the protein meals. And I know a lot of people are very scared to do this because doctors usually say you should eat lots of carbs in the morning, but bro, I'm telling you right now, if you try this, you'll realize how bad carbs are for you. You'll realize how bad they affect your brain and your focus and cause brain fog. And if you really want to improve your focus, your diet is by far the biggest factor in changing that. If you want to get access to a ton of free productivity resources that will change your focus, allow you to stop procrastinating, allow you to just live a much healthier life, work on your business, make more money, and get your dream grades by studying less, and also get a free coaching call with me, click the first link in the description or the pinned comment to join my free community. If you enjoyed this video and you want to solve more productivity problems, click the video that's on the screen now. If it's not on the screen, I'm going to look really stupid right now, but I'm guessing it is. You're going to get elbowed in the face again. Goodbye. Whoa!